and noble deeds in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is a promise of great rewards for the person who carries out this good deed of visiting a Muslim who is sick. And the sickness doesn't have to be some chronic sickness or very serious sickness. It could be something as minor as a headache, could be something like a fever, could be something like flu or cold, something like that. Any condition that qualifies as illness. So visiting your Muslim brother when he falls sick is one of his rights upon you. And there's great reward that is promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the rewards that is promised is the prayers of angels that come with it. When someone visits a sick brother, angels continue to pray for that person for the duration of the day, if it is done in the daytime, or for the duration of the night, if it is done at nighttime. But like with anything, this also has some etiquettes that one should be mindful of. And one of the etiquettes that is taught to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that man aada minkum maridan falyukhaffif. When one of you visits a sick brother, he should make his visit short. You should not make your visit long, because that is going to create more suffering for the person. Especially when you are sick, you want your privacy, you want to be in your space so you can move freely. And a lot of times when you're sick, you don't even realize your aura may be exposed, or you may be in a kind of clothes. Like when we go to the hospital, we know the kind of clothing they give you. It's a very revealing clothing, and it's very easy to allow your aura to be exposed. So a patient wants his privacy as much as possible, and that should be afforded to that. When someone is sick, you want to make things easy for that person, not make it more difficult. He's already in pain, he's already in suffering. You don't want to make him suffer more. And I remember one story from Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullahi alayh, one of the great scholars of Islam, one of the great fuqaha of Islam, one of the great muhaddithin and mufassirin of Islam, and one of the close companions of Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayh. So once Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullahi alayh was sick, so people started coming to visit him while he was on his bed in his room. So people would come and leave. One person came to visit him, and he sat in the room, and he was not leaving. So people started coming and leaving. People would come, pay their visit to Imam Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullahi alayh, and then leave. But this man was not leaving. So at one point, Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullahi alayh got very sick of this person's presence, because he wanted his privacy, he wanted his space all by himself, but this man was not making it easy. So at one point, Imam Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullahi alayh, he said, illness brings its own suffering to the patient, but there are some people who make it even more painful for the patient by their presence. They come and they don't leave. So this man, he says, maybe the Shaykh is getting tired of people coming and visiting him. He said, Shaykh, do you want me to lock the door from inside? So Imam Abdullah Mubarak rahmatullahi alayhi, he said, yes please, but lock it from outside. Even then he didn't get the hint. So finally he had to say, please leave. So you want to make things easy for the patient, not make it more painful, not make it more difficult for the patient. Make dua for the patient, and dua is very short. La ba'sa tahurun insha'Allah. Make short dua. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam visited Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas radiyallahu anhu when he was sick. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made very short dua. He said, Allahumma shfi Sa'da, Allahumma shfi Sa'da. Oh Allah, give shifa to Sa'd. That's it. Make short dua, pay your right of visiting your sick brother, and then leave. You don't need to spend half an hour over there. You don't need to spend an hour over there. Unless the patient is someone who feels better by your presence. If you're sitting there, you're talking to the patient, he feels better, and you have time, you're able to do that, then that's fine. But most patients will not be comfortable, especially if you're just a stranger and you're just visiting the brother in the hospital or even in their home. Just fulfill the sunnah, fulfill the right, and then leave. Please continue to make dua for Dr. Arif, for Brother Fadl Subhan, for Brother Mahmoud Alam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them shifa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them speedy recovery. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restore their health, and make dua for our brothers and sisters in Gaza, in Palestine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them refuge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them relief. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them ease. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seize the hands of the oppressor. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala paralyze the hands of the oppressor. Jazakumullah.